Bloody Honeymoon, the Majestic ocean liner mystery, inspired by a real crime story. Authored by Elham Ghoreishi. In the heart of a quaint, upscale American suburb, where the lawns were manicured with precision and the houses boasted of old money and new, stood the residence of the Thompson family. It was an elegant two-story Victorian, its white facade gleaming in the afternoon sun, surrounded by a sprawling garden that whispered tales of generations' worth of care and affection. Elliot Thompson, the sole heir to this modest empire, was the epitome of a young man born with the proverbial silver spoon. His father, Jonathan Thompson, was a self-made man, having built a chain of high-end clothing stores from the ground up. His mother, Elizabeth, with her aristocratic grace, managed a small but prosperous horse farm on the outskirts of the town. Together, they provided a life for Elliot that was envied by many. Elliot himself was a striking figure, his features were a perfect blend of his parents' best traits. With his father's sharp jawline and his mother's piercing blue eyes, he carried an air of effortless charm. His hair, a light chestnut hue, was always styled to a casual perfection. He walked with the confidence of someone who had never known struggle, yet he bore a kindness in his demeanor that made him beloved by those who knew him. As a child, Elliot was always curious, forever tinkering with gadgets and gizmos, leading him to pursue a degree in computer science at a prestigious university in Boston. But, even amidst the binary codes and algorithms, he couldn't deny the pull of his heritage. After graduation, rather than following a path in technology, he chose to join his father in the family business. It was a decision that brought new vigor to the Thompson legacy. Elliot's fresh perspective, combined with his father's experience, propelled the business to new heights. Under their joint stewardship, the stores flourished, branching out to new cities, each opening greeted with fanfare and anticipation. The Thompsons were not just a family, they were an institution in their community. Elliot was often seen at charity events and local gatherings, always with a warm smile and a kind word. His intelligence was not just confined to business, he had a knack for understanding people, for seeing beyond the surface. It was this quality that made him not just a successful heir, but a beloved figure in his circle. But for all his accomplishments and the affluence he was born into, Elliot longed for something more, something that the comfort of his life couldn't provide. It was a longing that would lead him to a chance encounter at a friend's party, an encounter that would change the course of his life forever. The spring air was brisk, laced with the promise of warmer days as Elliot Thompson made his way to a friend's garden party. The Thompson name ensured an invitation to most of the town's exclusive events, but Elliot had a particular reason for attending this one. Whispers of Amelia Hartley, the daughter of a well-respected family, had reached him, sparking a curiosity that seldom stirred within him. Amelia, he had heard, was a vision. The way people spoke of her beauty, her grace, and her intellect was almost mythical. Yet, Elliot, who had been surrounded by beauty and privilege all his life, wasn't easily swayed by mere descriptions. He wanted to see if she lived up to the tales that seemed to dance around her name. The garden was a kaleidoscope of colors, with guests mingling amidst blooming flowers and string lights. Elliot navigated the crowd with an ease born of a lifetime spent in such environments. Then, amidst the laughter and chatter, he saw her. Amelia Hartley stood near a blossoming cherry tree, her back to him. She was speaking to an older couple, her gestures animated, her laughter like a melody that cut through the evening air. She turned slightly, and Elliot caught a glimpse of her profile, the delicate curve of her cheek, the softness of her brown hair that fell in gentle waves down her back. He approached, his heart pacing a rhythm he hadn't expected. As he drew closer, she turned fully towards him, and their eyes met. Amelia's eyes were a deep, striking brown, windows to a soul that seemed to hold stories yet untold. Elliot Thompson, he introduced himself, extending a hand, which she took with a warm, confident grip. Amelia Hartley, she replied, her voice carrying a hint of recognition. Their conversation began with the usual pleasantries, but soon delved into deeper territories. They spoke of art, literature, and travel, Elliot fascinated by her knowledge and the passion that lit up her eyes as she spoke. She wasn't just beautiful, she was intelligent and spirited, a combination that drew him in like a moth to a flame. As the evening progressed, Elliot found himself more and more enchanted. Amelia shared her love for horses and her work on her family's small farm. She spoke of the horses with such affection, her face glowing with a mix of pride and joy. Elliot, who had always admired the majestic creatures from afar, listened with rapt attention. There was an ease to their interaction, a sense of familiarity that belied the short time they had known each other. They laughed, they debated, and as the party dwindled, they found themselves reluctant to part ways. As Elliot walked her to her car, the moon casting a soft glow over the garden, he knew something profound had shifted within him. This wasn't just a fleeting attraction. Amelia Hartley had stirred something in his soul that he couldn't quite name but knew he wanted to explore. "May I see you again?" Elliot asked, the question slipping out almost unconsciously. Amelia's smile was answer enough, a promise of a beginning that neither of them fully understood but were both eager to pursue. As she drove away, Elliot stood there, under the moonlit sky, feeling like a man who had just discovered a new continent, vast and uncharted. Little did he know, this encounter was the first step toward a journey that would unravel mysteries and challenges beyond his wildest imaginations. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, Elliot and Amelia's relationship blossomed into a deep, unshakable bond. Their love, nurtured by shared experiences and mutual respect, had grown into a beautiful, enduring partnership. It was a connection that effortlessly blended Elliot's refined upbringing with Amelia's heartfelt simplicity. The time had come to celebrate their union, and they chose a path less conventional for their honeymoon. While Amsterdam was their initial destination, it was merely a gateway to a grander adventure, a 12-day voyage on the Ocean Majesti, a magnificent cruise ship renowned for its opulence and the promise of unforgettable experiences. Their wedding, held in the late summer of 2012, was a spectacular event that perfectly mirrored their personalities. It was a fusion of Elliot's family's elegance and Amelia's family's warmth. Guests from all walks of life came together under a canopy of twinkling lights, celebrating the union of two souls who were truly meant for each other. After the festivities, the newlyweds set off for Amsterdam, hearts full of excitement and minds dreaming of the days ahead. Amsterdam was a city of picturesque canals and quaint architecture, but for Elliot and Amelia, it was the stepping stone to their much-anticipated journey on the Ocean Majesti. The Ocean Majesti was a marvel of modern engineering and luxury. Spanning over 300 meters in length and boasting 12 decks, it was a floating paradise. With multiple dance halls, gyms, restaurants, swimming pools, a water park, spa centers, a casino, and various nightclubs, the ship was a world unto itself, designed to offer its guests the pinnacle of maritime luxury. Their suite, located on the 8th floor, was a haven of comfort and elegance. The room, adorned with tasteful decor, opened onto a beautiful balcony that offered breathtaking views of the ocean. Above each balcony, lifeboats hung securely, a subtle reminder of the vastness of the sea over which they would travel. Room 820 was to be their home for the next dozen days, a private sanctuary amidst the vastness of the ocean. As the Ocean Majesti set sail, Elliot and Amelia stood on the deck, hand in hand, watching the shoreline slowly fade into the distance. The air was filled with a sense of adventure, the horizon holding promises of new experiences and memories to be made. Their voyage was not just a celebration of their marriage, but also a journey into the unknown, a journey that would test their love and change their lives in ways they could never have imagined. As the ship cut through the waves, heading towards the Aegean and Mediterranean seas, Elliot and Amelia looked forward to the days of exploration and luxury that lay ahead. But as the sun dipped below the ocean, casting a golden glow over the ship, neither Elliot or Amelia could foresee the twists and turns their idyllic journey was about to take. The Ocean Majesti, majestic and serene, sailed onwards, carrying with it secrets that would soon unravel in the most unexpected ways. As the Ocean Majesty elegantly sliced through the calm waters, leaving Amsterdam's charming vistas behind, Elliot and Amelia embarked on a journey that promised to be the epitome of their honeymoon dreams. The ship, a behemoth of luxury and engineering marvel, was an awe-inspiring sight. Its 12 decks rose majestically, each level brimming with activities and experiences that catered to every whim and fancy of its esteemed passengers. Elliot and Amelia's suite on the 8th floor was a cocoon of luxury, with plush furnishings and a balcony that offered a panoramic view of the endless ocean. The balcony, adorned with a lifeboat perched overhead, became their favorite spot to watch the sunrise, basking in the tranquility of the sea. The ship was a microcosm of the world's finest pleasures. Several dance halls echoed with music and laughter, each with its unique ambience. The gyms were state-of-the-art, frequented by those who sought to maintain their fitness regime even while at sea. The array of restaurants served a medley of cuisines, each dish an artwork created by chefs who were masters of their craft. Amelia, with her love for water, was particularly enchanted by the swimming pools and the water park. The pools, sparkling under the sun, invited guests to take a refreshing dip, while the water park boasted slides and attractions that brought out the child in everyone. The spa centers were an oasis of relaxation, offering treatments that promised rejuvenation and peace. Elliot and Amelia indulged in a couple's massage, letting the skilled hands of the therapists ease away any remnants of stress. As night fell, the ship transformed. The casino buzzed with energy, its tables and slot machines a playground for those who sought excitement. The nightclubs, each with its unique theme, pulsed with music, drawing in guests to dance the night away. Despite the plethora of activities, what truly made the Ocean Majesty special were its stops at exotic locations. The ship's itinerary included visits to picturesque ports across the Aegean and Mediterranean seas. Each destination was an opportunity for Elliot and Amelia to explore new cultures and landscapes, creating memories that would last a lifetime. Yet, amidst the splendor and joy, there was an undercurrent of something more, a sense of mystery that lingered in the air. The ship, with its myriad of hidden corners and secrets, was like a floating labyrinth, waiting to be explored. As they retired to their room after a day of indulgence, Elliot and Amelia felt a sense of contentment. The rhythmic motion of the ship, the gentle lapping of the waves against its hull, and the soft breeze that wafted in from the balcony created a symphony of nature that lulled them into a peaceful sleep. But as the Ocean Majesty journeyed onward, cutting through the starlit waters, a series of events were set in motion that would turn their idyllic voyage into a mystery that entangled every passenger in a web of intrigue and suspense. As the Ocean Majesty glided through the cerulean depths of the Mediterranean, its passengers settled into the rhythm of life at sea. Among them, Elliot and Amelia, wrapped in the cocoon of their newlywed bliss, found themselves effortlessly mingling with fellow travelers, each with their own stories and intrigues. On the 8th day of their voyage, while attending a sun-drenched cocktail party on the upper deck, they crossed paths with another couple, Alex and Charlotte. Like Elliot and Amelia, they were honeymooners, their faces glowing with the same joy and anticipation. Alex, a tall man with a quick wit, worked in finance, and Charlotte, a pediatric nurse, exuded a warmth that was instantly endearing. They clicked almost instantly, their conversations flowing as freely as the champagne being served. As the ship made its way to the next port of call, the two couples found themselves spending more time together, sharing meals and partaking in the ship's many entertainments. Their bond was a testament to the serendipitous friendships that often bloom in the most unexpected places. It wasn't just Alex and Charlotte who caught Elliot and Amelia's attention. Another intriguing acquaintance was the Miller family, particularly Dr. Miller, an elderly gentleman with a wealth of stories from his years as a physician. His demeanor carried the weight of experience, yet his eyes twinkled with a youthful curiosity. His family, including his son Joe, who was around Elliot's age, added to the diverse tapestry of the ship's guests. Joe, who was traveling with his friend Chris, was a contrast to his father, more reserved, yet equally engaging once conversation ensued. As the days unfolded, the Majestic ship became a floating stage where friendships were forged and stories exchanged. Elliot and Amelia savored the beauty of each port, exploring ancient ruins and quaint coastal towns, their senses bathed in the rich tapestry of Mediterranean culture. Yet, amidst the revelry and exploration, there was an undercurrent of mystery that seemed to grow with each passing day. The Ocean Majesti, for all its grandeur, held secrets in its vast expanses. Whispers of past voyages, tales of love and loss, seemed to echo through its corridors, hinting at a depth beyond the visible luxuries. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, the group gathered in one of the ship's elegant lounges. Over cocktails and laughter, they shared tales of their lives back home, each narrative adding layers to their newfound friendships. But as they conversed, Elliot and Amelia couldn't shake off a feeling of intrigue. The ship, a marvel of human achievement, seemed to be a character in its own right, its stories woven into the very fabric of their journey. It was a feeling that lingered, a whisper in the wind that promised more than just a simple voyage across the sea. As they retired to their suite that night, the couple lay in bed, the gentle rocking of the ship a soothing lullaby. Outside, the stars twinkled like diamonds strewn across the velvet sky, a silent witness to the mysteries that were slowly unfolding aboard the Ocean Majesti. The Ocean Majesti, a bastion of luxury and revelry, continued its majestic journey across the Mediterranean. As the ship sailed towards its next destination, its guests indulged in the plethora of experiences it offered. For Elliot and Amelia, along with their newfound friends, the voyage was becoming an unforgettable adventure. One particularly warm evening, after a day spent exploring the historic streets of Rome, the group decided to spend the night enjoying the ship's vibrant nightlife. The atmosphere aboard was electric, a palpable excitement in the air as guests from all corners of the world mingled under the starry sky. The evening began with a sumptuous dinner at one of the ship's exclusive restaurants. Elliot and Amelia, joined by Alex and Charlotte, Joe, and his friend Chris, indulged in a feast fit for royalty. The conversation was lively, filled with laughter and anecdotes from their day ashore. As they dined, Chris, a man of adventurous spirit, revealed a daring addition to the night's plan. He had smuggled a bottle of absinthe onto the ship, a potent spirit famed for its high alcohol content and rumored hallucinogenic properties. This absinthe was particularly special, containing thujone, a substance found in several plants and herbs, most notably in wormwood. In the United States, thujone-containing absinthe was banned, but in Europe, it was still legal and widely available. Chris had acquired this bottle in Italy, boasting of its authenticity and strength. Intrigued and a bit reckless, the group agreed to sample the absinthe in secrecy, aware of the ship's strict policy against bringing outside alcohol on board. In the privacy of one of the ship's lounges, they poured the emerald liquid, its aroma filling the air with a mix of anise and mystery. The night progressed, and the group found themselves enveloped in a heady blend of alcohol and exhilaration. The absinthe, with its unique effects, seemed to heighten their senses, casting a surreal glow on the evening. After leaving the restaurant, they headed to the ship's casino, a glamorous hall of chance and excitement. The sounds of slot machines, the clatter of roulette wheels, and the shuffling of cards created a symphony of temptation. Elliot and Amelia, though usually more reserved, found themselves swept up in the thrill, egged on by their friends. As the clock ticked towards the early hours of the morning, the group, now visibly intoxicated, made their way to one of the ship's nightclubs. The pulsating music and kaleidoscope of lights provided a perfect backdrop for their heightened spirits. They danced with abandon, lost in the moment, the worries of the world a distant memory. However, as the night wore on, the effects of the absinthe, combined with the day's indulgences, began to take their toll. The once lively group started to show signs of fatigue, their movements becoming sluggish, their laughter a bit slower. In the early hours of the morning, around 2:30 a.m., the group decided to call it a night. The ship, a labyrinth of lights and shadows, seemed to sway with them as they made their way back to their respective suites, the echoes of their laughter fading into the night. Unbeknownst to them, this evening of excess would be the catalyst for a series of events that would shroud the Ocean Majesty in a mystery as deep and unpredictable as the seas it sailed upon. The sun, a radiant orb ascending the Mediterranean sky, poured its light onto the decks of the Ocean Majesty, heralding a new day. Below deck, in the comfortable confines of Suite 820, Amelia stirred from her sleep. The room was suffused with a soft morning glow, but it was devoid of Elliot's presence. Assuming he had risen early, a habit he often indulged in during their travels, she prepared herself for the day, her head clouded by the remnants of last night's revelry. Unperturbed by Elliot's absence, she decided to start her day with a visit to the ship's spa. The idea of a soothing massage seemed the perfect antidote to her lingering headache. She stepped out of their room, her mind still replaying fragmented pieces of the previous night, a tapestry of laughter, music, and the hypnotic taste of absinthe. The ship was a buzz of morning activities. Passengers engaged in light conversations over breakfast, some strolled leisurely along the decks, and others lounged in various corners, basking in the gentle warmth of the sun. There was no indication of anything amiss, no sign of the undercurrent of drama that was about to unfold. As Amelia made her way through the opulent corridors towards the spa, her thoughts were on the blissful massage that awaited her. She relished the idea of immersing herself in the serene ambience of the spa, a sanctuary of tranquility and rejuvenation. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to Amelia, a disturbing discovery had been made. A guest in room 818, directly below their suite, had reported finding traces of blood on her balcony railing. The ship's security team was promptly alerted, and they began their investigation with a sense of urgency and discretion. In the spa, Amelia, enveloped in a cocoon of calmness and aromatic scents, lay on the massage table, her body relaxing under the skilled hands of the therapist. The tension from the previous night gradually melted away, leaving her in a state of peaceful oblivion. The spa's tranquil environment shielded her from the growing whispers and unease spreading through the ship. The news of the bloodstains had started to circulate among the guests, sparking a myriad of theories and concerns. The ship's crew, trained to handle such situations, worked diligently to contain the situation and preserve the calm atmosphere aboard. As Amelia's massage session came to an end, she emerged from the spa refreshed and rejuvenated, blissfully unaware of the turmoil that had begun to unravel outside. She decided to return to her suite, still expecting to find Elliot there, perhaps enjoying a quiet morning on their balcony. However, upon reaching her floor, Amelia was met with an unusual sight, a small gathering of guests and crew members, their faces etched with concern and curiosity. The corridor outside their suite was abuzz with hushed conversations and speculative glances. Feeling a sudden pang of unease, Amelia approached the crowd, her mind racing with questions. What had happened? Why were people gathered here? And most importantly, where was Elliot? As she drew closer, the reality of the situation began to dawn on her. Something was terribly wrong, and it was unfolding right outside her door. As Amelia approached the gathered crowd outside her suite, the murmur of hushed voices and anxious expressions signaled that something was amiss. Her heart raced with a mix of confusion and apprehension. She scanned the faces, searching for any sign of Elliot, but he was nowhere to be seen. A crew member, recognizing her from the passenger list, approached. "Mrs. Thompson, please, we need to speak with you," he said, his voice calm but carrying an underlying urgency. Amelia's mind reeled. "What's going on? Where's Elliot?" she asked, her voice tinged with worry. The crew member guided her away from the crowd, his demeanor professional yet empathetic. "There's been an incident," he began, choosing his words carefully. "This morning, a guest reported finding traces of blood on their balcony. It's the room directly below yours." Amelia felt a chill run down her spine. Blood? Below their balcony? Her thoughts immediately went to Elliot. But what does that have to do with us? Where is my husband? She pressed, her concern mounting. We're currently trying to ascertain the situation. Mr. Thompson is not in your room, and we haven't been able to locate him on the ship yet, he explained, his tone reassuring yet cautious. Amelia's world seemed to spin. Elliot missing? It didn't make sense. They had returned to their room together last night, hadn't they? Her memory was foggy, the details of the evening blurred by the alcohol and festivities. The crew member continued, "We're conducting a thorough search of the ship and reviewing security footage. We're also asking passengers for any information. We need to ask you some questions, too, for our investigation." Amelia nodded, her mind still struggling to grasp the reality of the situation. She followed the crew member to a private area, where a small team of ship security was waiting. They asked her about the previous night, about when she had last seen Elliot, and about their activities on the ship. She recounted the events to the best of her ability, her voice faltering as the gravity of the situation sank in. "We were at the casino, then the nightclub. We drank quite a bit," she admitted, her eyes welling up with tears. "I thought he was with me when we came back. I don't remember." After the questioning, Amelia was escorted back to her room, now a scene of quiet investigation. The crew assured her they were doing everything possible to find Elliot and resolve the situation. The once joyous honeymoon suite felt cold and empty, the air heavy with unspoken fears. Meanwhile, the news of the missing passenger and the mysterious bloodstains had begun to ripple through the ship. Whispers turned into speculation, and speculation bred unease among the passengers and crew alike. As the Ocean Majesty continued its journey, the mystery of Elliot's disappearance cast a shadow over its decks. The ship, a beacon of luxury and escape, had transformed into a vessel of uncertainty and unanswered questions. Amelia, sitting alone in her room, felt a sense of surreal disbelief. The perfect honeymoon had turned into a nightmare, and she was at the center of a mystery that seemed to deepen with every passing hour. As the Ocean Majesty continued its majestic journey, the ship was engulfed in a thickening mystery. The disappearance of Elliot Thompson had transformed the once idyllic cruise into a floating scene of investigation. Amelia, engulfed in a mix of grief and confusion, found herself at the heart of a perplexing puzzle. The ship's security, led by Chief Martinez, was diligently working through the scant leads. The absence of corridor cameras, a policy designed to respect guest privacy, meant that the key areas between the rooms, including the Thompson suite, were blind spots in the investigation. The security team turned their attention to the areas where surveillance was available, the casino and the nightclub. Footage from these locations showed Elliot and Amelia enjoying their evening, their laughter echoing through the hallways. The last confirmed sighting of Elliot was at the nightclub, around 2:30 a.m., where he appeared cheerful and intoxicated. Interviews with other passengers and crew members began to piece together a timeline. Alex and Charlotte, the couple who had befriended the Thompsons, recounted jovial interactions with them at the casino. They noted nothing out of the ordinary, aside from the typical merriment expected on a cruise. Joe and Chris, who were part of the Millers travel group, provided a more significant insight. They recalled leaving the nightclub around the same time as Elliot and Amelia. However, since there were no cameras in the corridors, there was no way to confirm if they had all returned to their respective rooms immediately after. Amelia's fragmented recollections of the night were of little help. She remembered parts of the evening but nothing beyond leaving the nightclub. Her statement aligned with the CCTV footage, but the hours following remained shrouded in mystery. The ship's crew canvassed guests for any possible eyewitnesses or anyone who might have heard or seen anything unusual. This effort led to a potentially significant lead, a passenger from a nearby room reported hearing sounds of a heated argument and a loud thud coming from the direction of the Thompsons' suite in the early hours of the morning. However, without visual evidence, this account remained unsubstantiated, adding to the growing list of unverified claims. The lack of concrete evidence and the missing timeline presented a daunting challenge for the investigation. Speculations and rumors among the passengers grew rampant. Was it an accident? A dispute gone wrong? Or something more sinister? Amelia, surrounded by a whirlwind of uncertainty and speculation, felt a deepening sense of despair. The joy of her honeymoon had turned into a harrowing ordeal. She waited in her suite, hoping for any news that could shed light on her husband's whereabouts. As the ship sailed on, the mystery of Elliot Thompson's disappearance loomed large over the Ocean Majesti. The once vibrant corridors and lively decks were now corridors of whispers and speculation. The investigation, hampered by gaps and the absence of crucial evidence, continued to grapple with the enigma that had befallen the luxurious vessel. The Ocean Majesti, a ship that once symbolized leisure and escape, now sailed under a cloud of uncertainty. The mystery of Elliot Thompson's disappearance had cast a shadow over the vessel's grandeur, turning whispers into a chorus of speculations among the passengers and crew. In the midst of this turmoil, the ship's management and security team faced mounting pressure. The company, Ocean Majesti Cruises, was keen on resolving the matter discreetly and efficiently, fearing the impact on their reputation. Chief Martinez, heading the investigation, felt the weight of these expectations, his every move scrutinized by the company's upper echelon. Back in her suite, Amelia found herself grappling with a whirlwind of emotions. Elliot's absence left a void that was filled with more questions than answers. Her interactions with the other passengers were now tinged with a sense of isolation, their looks of sympathy doing little to ease her growing despair. The ship's company, in an attempt to steer the narrative, suggested the possibility of an accidental fall or even a voluntary departure from the ship. They pointed to the high spirits and alcohol consumption on the night of Elliot's disappearance as potential contributing factors. However, Elliot's family, informed of the situation, vehemently rejected these theories. They knew Elliot to be a man of sound mind and good health, with no history of reckless behavior. They argued that an accidental fall seemed implausible, especially given the design and safety features of the ship. The suggestion of a voluntary departure was even more absurd to them. Elliot had everything to live for, including his new marriage. Amelia, too, struggled with these suggestions. The Elliot she knew and loved would never willingly leave her, not without a word. The theories posited by the cruise company felt like a convenient narrative to shift focus away from potential missteps in security or operations. As the investigation continued, the tension aboard the Ocean Majesti grew. The absence of clear evidence and the limitation of the security footage left room for rampant speculation. Some passengers whispered about a quarrel gone wrong, others theorized about a cover-up by the ship's company. The lack of closure brought an unease that permeated the once lively atmosphere of the cruise. In a bid to find some solace, Amelia found herself frequently visiting the chapel on board, seeking a quiet space to gather her thoughts and hope for Elliot's safe return. The chapel, usually a place of solace and reflection, became her refuge amidst the sea of uncertainty. As the days passed, the case of Elliot Thompson remained shrouded in mystery. The lack of conclusive evidence, the differing theories, and the growing unease among the passengers turned the cruise into a floating enigma. The Ocean Majesti, once a haven of joy, was now a vessel carrying a story of loss and unresolved questions, its course charted through troubled waters. Months had passed since the Ocean Majesti docked, its once jubilant journey marred by the unresolved disappearance of Elliot Thompson. The ship had long since resumed its voyages, the whispers and speculations of its passengers dissipated like sea foam. However, for Amelia, time had done little to ease the ache of loss and the gnawing hunger for answers. In the quiet of her home, Amelia found herself engulfed in a world vastly different from the one she had known. The days were a monotonous blend of solitude and reflection, punctuated by the occasional outreach from a friend or a distant relative. But mostly, there was silence, a stark contrast to the life she had envisioned with Elliot. The legal proceedings with Ocean Majesti Cruises had been a prolonged affair, stretching over several tedious and emotionally draining months. The company, eager to close the chapter on the unfortunate incident, had offered Amelia a substantial financial settlement. It was presented as compensation for her loss, a gesture to help her rebuild a future that had been so abruptly shattered. The decision to accept the settlement was not an easy one for Amelia. It felt, in many ways, like an admission of defeat, a concession that the truth about Elliot's fate might forever remain a mystery. Yet, the lack of concrete evidence and the seemingly insurmountable barriers in her quest for answers left her with few viable options. With a heavy heart, she accepted the settlement, signing the non-disclosure agreement that accompanied it. This act felt like a final farewell to Elliot, an acknowledgement that her journey to uncover the truth had reached its end. The settlement, while providing financial security, was a cold comfort compared to the warmth and joy that Elliot had brought into her life. The reaction of Elliot's family to her decision was one of mixed emotions. While some understood her practical reasons, others viewed it as a betrayal, an indication that she had given up on seeking justice for Elliot. This led to a gradual estrangement, the once close ties frayed by unspoken accusations and mutual grief. As Amelia tried to navigate her new reality, the settlement money remained untouched, a stark reminder of the trade-off she had made. She found little solace in material comforts, her once cherished dreams now seeming trivial and unfulfilling. The nights were the hardest. In her dreams, she often revisited the Ocean Majesti, walking its decks in search of Elliot. These dreams, though vivid, offered no closure, only a surreal replay of her loss. Amelia's life, post-cruise, became a quiet journey of healing and introspection. The bustling world around her felt distant, a stark contrast to the inner turmoil she battled daily. The echoes of her time on the Ocean Majesti lingered, a constant reminder of the happiness that had been so cruelly snatched away. As she looked ahead, Amelia faced an uncertain future, one where the shadow of the past mingled with the faint glimmer of hope for a semblance of peace. The mystery of Elliot's disappearance remained unsolved, a haunting question mark at the end of a chapter that had closed too soon. In the months following the Ocean Majesti's return, Amelia's world became a quiet canvas of solitude. The vibrant life she once shared with Elliot was now just a memory, as distant as the ship that sailed away into the horizon. The season changed, and with it, the landscape of her life transformed under the weight of an unresolved mystery. Night after night, Amelia found herself haunted by troubling dreams. These were not the usual echoes of day-to-day life but deeply disturbing visions that left her waking with a start, her heart pounding in the silence of her room. In these dreams, she was back on the Ocean Majesti, in the confines of her suite, and there was always an ominous presence, Chris. Each dream was a variation of the same terrifying theme. Chris, with a predatory glint in his eye, would enter their room. The dreams were vivid and intense, filled with a sense of impending danger. He would approach her, his intentions clear in his menacing demeanor, his actions crossing the boundaries of respect and decency. Elliot would always appear at the crucial moment, a beacon of safety in the terrifying storm. He would confront Chris, standing up to him in an attempt to protect Amelia. But these dreams would always end in chaos, a struggle, a scream, and then the heart-wrenching sensation of loss. These nightmares left Amelia feeling drained and fearful, a stark contrast to the safety and love she had always felt with Elliot. She began to question the nature of these dreams. Were they just the manifestations of her trauma, or were they memories trying to surface from the depths of her subconscious? Then, on a cold winter's night, as she sat alone watching the snowflakes gently fall outside her window, a moment of shocking clarity struck her. Sipping her wine, the warmth of the fireplace doing little to ease the chill in her bones, she suddenly remembered. It was not just a dream, it was a memory, fragmented and suppressed, now breaking through the surface. Chris had indeed entered their room that night, his actions driven by sinister desires. He had approached her with a predatory intent, his touch invasive and uninvited, a gross violation of her dignity. Elliot, sensing the danger, had intervened, his protective instincts kicking in. The ensuing struggle between the two men was chaotic and brief, culminating in Elliot's tragic fall from the balcony. Amelia sat frozen, the wine glass slipping from her hand and shattering on the floor, mirroring the breaking of the dam in her mind. The truth, so long buried under the layers of trauma and confusion, was now painfully clear. Chris had not only caused Elliot's death but had also committed a vile act against her, leaving her in a state of shock that had blanketed her memories of that horrific night. Amelia fervently hoped that the vivid images surfacing in her mind were merely the creations of a troubled imagination, not the harrowing reality returning to her memory. She yearned for the possibility that Elliot's death was simply a tragic accident, a twist of fate, rather than the dark and painful truth that seemed to be revealing itself. The end, written by Elham Ghoreishi. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please consider subscribing and giving it a like. Your support means a lot. Thank you.